The Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB of the JCF, is reporting that 3 persons died on Good Friday as a result of 2 collisions. A 29-year-old male driver died following a collision about 8:42 p.m. involving a grey Nissan Latio along the Edward Seaga Highway in the vicinity of Unity Valley. The police listed the possible causes of the collision as excessive speeding, apparent error of judgment or negligence, and losing control. In the other incident, about 7:15 p.m., 2 motorcyclists aged 29 and 33 died following a collision along the Braco Main Road in the vicinity of the Bamboo Beach entrance. That incident involved a tractor-trailer, a Suzuki Balena motorcar, and 4 four-wheel motorcycles. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council NRSC, Dr. Lucian Jones, said the motorcycles were being operated with illegally.
The police report this morning is very sobering. This has already 3 persons have died in the first day of the 4-day-long weekend holiday. 3 persons already, and we've only gone 1 day out of the 4. 2 motorcyclists driving, according to reports, what seems to be off-road vehicles. So I'm not quite sure why they were on the road. They had no registration plates affixed, and 2 of them died in a crash on the Braco Road last night. And there was another crash, a single vehicle crash in St. Anne last night also.
Dr. Jones said 110 persons have died so far on the nation's roads. Meanwhile, the NRSC is raising an alarm about the number of persons who have been injured so far on the nation's roads.
Even though the National Road Safety Council has been focusing on fatalities, there was a report shared at the recent meeting with the Prime Minister on Thursday about injury data. It's also very sobering. So even though there has been a drop in the number of fatalities for this year, the most recent data for 2023 showed that almost a 20% increase over 2022. That is sobering because it means that we're really not getting a handle on the number of people who have been injured and what it is costing the country and costing individuals and costing communities.
Dr. Lucian Jones, Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, NRSC. 3 persons, including a religious leader, have been charged by detectives assigned to the National Strategic Anti-Gang Division NSAD of the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch CTOC in connection with the abduction of a 13-year-old Clarendon student on Monday, April 7. According to the police, the accused are 60-year-old Byron Hunter, a religious leader and welder, 35-year-old Donna Mae Taylor, and 38-year-old Rashia Hunter. They are all of a Yuatan St. Catherine address. Investigations revealed that the teen was taken from her home without the knowledge or consent of her mother. A missing person report was filed and the matter was brought to the attention of the detectives, who immediately launched an investigation. The police were led to a home in Yuatan in St. Catherine on Tuesday, April 15, where the missing teen was found. 2 other children were also seen at the premises. It was later discovered that those children were not registered for school. The teen was reportedly taken by the religious leader for a special upcoming event akin to what has been described as 3 days of darkness. The accused, one of whom is her aunt, and the mastermind behind the abduction were taken into custody and the children were removed from the home. Byron Hunter and Donna Mae Taylor were both charged with abduction of a child under 16, being a member of a criminal organization, 2 counts of duty to secure education, and 3 counts of duty to report need for care and protection. Rashia Hunter was charged with conspiracy to abduct a child under 16, being a member of a criminal organization, 2 counts of duty to secure education, and 3 counts of duty to report the need for care and protection. All 3 will appear in the Home Circuit Court on Monday, April 28. Meanwhile, the police are urging parents and guardians to exercise heightened vigilance and regarding the safety and welfare of their children, and to be mindful of organizations, including those operating under the guise of religious groups that may support beliefs or practices that could endanger children. Anyone with information that can assist in the investigation or share information on the suspicious activities is urged to contact CTOC at 876-967-1389, Crime Stop at 311, the National Intelligence Bureau at 811, the Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. The Clarendon man, who allegedly slit his wife's throat and set their house ablaze, reportedly confessed to the crime after being cautioned by the police. The disclosure was made by a prosecutor in the Clarendon Parish Court on Thursday. The man, 39-year-old Anne Ray Williams, made his first appearance before a judge since the incident occurred on April 8. Williams is charged with murder and arson. His attorneys O'Dane Marston and Rodane Richardson requested a copy of the caution statement. A psychiatric evaluation has been ordered for Williams. The prosecution indicated that several documents remain outstanding, including a witness statement, a post-mortem report, and a report from the fire brigade. The allegations are that Williams used a knife to slit the throat of his wife, 33-year-old Judy Ann Guthrie Williams. He then set fire to their matrimonial home. It is also alleged that Williams attempted to commit suicide. Williams was remanded in custody. He is set to appear in court on June 11. Two more Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC drivers have been arrested for fuel theft. Patrick Malabre and Dwight Ricketts were picked up at their home by personnel from the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch CTOC on Good Friday. Malabre is reportedly the kingpin of the fuel theft ring. I read it for you again. Malabre is reportedly the kingpin of the fuel theft ring operating at the JUTC over many years. Malabre and Ricketts' arrests bring to 7 the number of JUTC drivers who have been arrested charged in connection with fuel theft from the state-run bus company in the past 3 months. Last month, a driver was charged with larceny after he was caught stealing nearly 300 litres of fuel from the company. Transport Minister Darl Vass recently disclosed that the value of diesel stolen at the JUTC Spanish Town depot alone amounts to more than $26 million per month. He said the authorities continue to use disruptive efforts to minimize the theft. These include intelligence gathering, new and strict bus dispatch procedures, 24-hour police deployment on the depot, and the ongoing operational collaboration with the police. He says the measures have resulted in the JUTC saving over $31 million. Additionally, over $200 million in fuel stolen from the JUTC by these 7 suspects have been recovered. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says over 20 farmers who were cultivating land now designated for the Raintree Commercial Complex have been relocated. Ground was broken for the new $14 billion commercial complex located in Ferry Pen, St. Catherine on Wednesday.
On the social side, the UDC engaged the Social Development Commission to conduct baseline economic surveys of nearby communities, particularly the Caymanas Village and Ferry. The area is home to nearly 230 residents, and the UDC has taken deliberate steps to minimize displacement and disruption. Notably, 27 farmers who were cultivating lands here have been identified, consulted, and offered relocation to nearby zoned agricultural plots under a new licensing arrangement. That is what people-centered development looks like. Building with people in mind.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. On Monday, the Urban Development Corporation UDC presented each of the farmers with a license agreement for half-acre lots to continue their cultivation. The farmers are cultivators of cash crops. According to the UDC, these lots are still in the Caymanas area. However, it is not part of the development zone. Over 100 acres of land at Caymanas Estate will be developed for the complex. Plans are for the plot, which forms Block 1 of the overall project, to be subdivided and dedicated to commercial and light industrial development. And Prime Minister Dr. Holness says the roads, water and sewer system will be part of infrastructure work to be implemented at the Raintree Commercial Complex in St. Catherine. The contract signing for the complex and its groundbreaking ceremony took place at Ferry Pen in the parish on Wednesday.
The infrastructure works permitted by the Natural Resources Conservation Authority are comprehensive and forward-looking. The internal road network will adhere to both local and international standards. The drainage system has been designed to maintain the natural hydrology of the area, with careful attention to water quality and habitat preservation. A modern sewage system will connect to the Soapberry water treatment plant, which will be expanded, by the way. A potable water supply will come initially from the National Water Commission and then later from the Caymanas well field. Fire safety has been factored in with hydrants placed throughout the development. Electrical infrastructure will be provided by JPS under a coordinated plan.
The Prime Minister delivered the keynote address at the event. The $14 billion Raintree Commercial Complex is an initiative led by the Urban Development Corporation UDC. It's a transformational project that forms part of the government's broader national development strategy. The complex will provide 68 lots for commercial and industrial purposes. It will be located just outside Kingston at Caymanas Estate in Ferrypen, St. Catherine. The Prime Minister noted that a number of assessments, including tree surveys, were done as part of efforts by the government to ensure that the development is in harmony with the environment. And we should be hearing again from the Prime Minister regarding that Raintree Complex development. And we apologize for the absence of that insert. The National Water Commission (NWC) says over 33,000 customers have benefited from its amnesty program. In a statement on Thursday, the NWC says the amnesty marked its 100th day in effect on April 11. It says since the program became effective on January 2, over 33,000 customers have taken steps to regularize their accounts and benefit from debt relief. The NWC says as of April 11, it has processed a total of 8,704 applications. The Commission says there have been 7,151 reconnections completed. An additional 1,573 are currently in progress. The NWC says the numbers reflect widespread public interest and the urgent need being addressed by the initiative. The Commission also says to date it has written off more than $1.2 billion in outstanding debt owed by qualifying customers. It has also collected over $492 million in payments from customers. The NWC added that applications amounting to $2.9 billion have been processed for potential debt forgiveness. The NWC is urging customers to apply for the amnesty before the deadline of May 31. To news now on the international scene. The U.S. Supreme Court has ordered the Trump administration to pause the deportation of a group of alleged Venezuelan gang members. A civil liberties group had sued to stop the removal of the men currently in detention in Texas, saying they had not been able to contest their cases in court. Donald Trump has sent accused Venezuelan gang members to a notorious prison in El Salvador, invoking the 1798 Alien Enemies Act, which gives the president power to detain and deport natives or citizens of enemy nations without usual processes. The act was previously used only 3 times, all during war. The White House called challenges to using the law for mass deportations meritless litigation. Let's now turn to sport because the NBA playoff picture came into full focus Friday night with the final 2 games in the play-in tournament. The Miami Heat, who were the last team into the Eastern Conference play-in bracket with the 10th best record at the regular season, well, they knocked off the Atlanta Hawks with a 123-114 overtime win to become the number 8 seed in the East. In the Western Conference, it was the Memphis Grizzlies pummeling the Dallas Mavericks 120-106 to take the 8th seed in the West. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. 3 persons die in motor vehicle collisions on Friday. 3 persons, including a religious leader, have been charged in connection with the abduction of a 13-year-old Clarendon student. 2 more JUTC drivers have been arrested for fuel theft. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at 5 tomorrow afternoon, but stay tuned because coming up next we have Sports Station Live with Wayne Walker and Alex Swaby.
Outperform, outlast, with top performance, Jackama, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
At Kia, driving your future means joining the movement that inspires. Whether it's the small but mighty Picanto hatchback or the top-of-the-line tech-rich Sorrento SUV, there's a Kia that perfectly fits your lifestyle and your budget. ATL Automotive has gotten Jamaicans behind the wheels of thousands of Kias for the past 7 years. And we're ready to get you behind the wheel of a Kia too. Simply visit the nearest Kia showroom for a test drive now.
Calling all golfers! The third annual Stories to Create charity golf tournament is happening on July 19 at the Constant Spring Golf Course, and you don't want to miss it. Come out and compete in 8 exciting challenges, from longest drive to beat the pro. And yes, you'll get your shot at $5 million in the hole-in-one contest. Prizes, surprises, and a powerful cause supporting youth and storytelling programs through EHAS Inc. Register now and swing with purpose. Visit ehasinc.org or email info@ehasinc.org, and we'll see you on the green.
But is this real? Hey Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening. Mr. Daniels, the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger.
Sir, the clicks are off the charts.
Hello, sales? What's the emergency? 9,000 clicks in one day? 3,000 order? So how much we have left? What? I soon call you back. Mr. Nakamoto, it's Danny from Jamaica. I need 5,000 of the big ones. We're back in business.
Yes, sir. Arigato. Suene. Amplify your brand. Let Nationwide 90 FM assist you in tapping into a captivated audience across our social media platforms. For more information, contact us at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Businesses, companies, and entrepreneurs, let's supercharge your brand.
Share in the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
This is a rebroadcast of Sports Nation Live.
Good afternoon. It's Saturday, February 17, 2024. If you bowl it, we'll hit for 6. If you pass it, we'll score it. Give us a pool, we'll dive in. And as fast as the starters gun fires, we're at that finish line. I'm Alric Swaby. This is Sports Nation Live on Nationwide 90 FM, nationwideradiojam.com, and Flow Channel 916. You can also tune in to our program live on our YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM. And remember to like, subscribe, and share our content. Coming up, we have another packed exciting show line up for you. We'll be talking track and field, swimming, NFL, and much more. But first, an athletics lesson from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24.
1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Did you notice when reading this verse that it doesn't say you must win or you will win? It is actually telling us that the kind of effort and dedication victory requires. Competing with integrity is the key here. Anyone can cheat and win, but what does that do us morally? It's not about winning at all costs or abandoning your values to do anything it takes to win. This is telling us we need to perform at our absolute best and have the self-discipline to compete in a focused, well-practiced, and strategic manner. If we do that, we will perform in such a way that will be nearly impossible to beat. Will we get beat sometimes? Absolutely. However, in performing with honor, we can feel victorious even in a loss.
Okay, so that was our athletics lesson from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Now, in our feature, you just had to be there. We relive Usain Bolt winning Olympic gold for the third time in a row in the men's 100 meters, defeating Justin Gatlin in Rio 2016.
overwhelming favourite for this gold medal. Gatlin has produced wonderful performances over the last 10 or 12 years, but this guy is without doubt the greatest sprinter the world has ever seen. We know this is going to be his last appearance at an Olympic Games, and surely a hat-trick of golds over the 100 metres would be a feat never to be repeated, certainly not in lifetimes.
And now he stands on the verge of what would probably be his greatest moment. Athens was outstanding. He will probably rate this 12 years down the track even greater. But look at the confidence of this man.
These 8 fabulous sprinters for you. In lane 2, Bromell.
Trayvon Bromell, a world indoor champion.
3, Simpine.
Tony Simpine, African record holder. Gatlin from the United States. The polarising figure he's been. You've gained that from the reaction of the crowd. Lico of France, co-European record holder. Then, as you say, Andre de Grasse, at 21 years of age, the youngest man in the final. Then Métis, carrying the hopes of Côte d'Ivoire. And Johan Blake, Bolt's fellow Jamaican. It's been a moment that has been 120 years in the making at the modern Olympic Games. Is Usain Bolt about to rewrite the record books again? Gatlin got a good enough start. Bolt was a bit slow to begin. He's got some work to do. Gatlin's in front. Bolt stretching out now. He's coming after him. He's immortal now. Usain's done it. Gatlin challenged for the silver medal. 9.80 all the way from Beijing to London and now to Rio. It is one of the greatest athletic achievements of all time, if not the very greatest. What a moment. He wasn't great out of the blocks. Gatlin beat him out clearly. Usain had to work. In the end, it was comfortable. Gatlin will take the silver medal by 200ths of a second, and the Canadian Andre de Grasse will be the bronze medalist. You have just seen a moment the likes of which none of us is ever likely to see again in this lifetime, or any lifetime for that matter. What a champion. He is a legend.
It was spellbinding to watch because he didn't get away well, and for a fleeting moment at 40 or 50 metres you started to think that maybe this would be Gatlin's day. But how dare we ever doubt the greatest, the best there's ever been. And it's not just what he's achieved, which is absolutely incredible. 3 Olympic titles in a row. It's the manner in which he's done it. Even here, under the greatest pressure, perhaps of all, after a poor season by his own high standards, as de Grasse celebrates a brilliant bronze medal, repeating the podium finish in Beijing when he finished 3rd. Even here, for his last games.
Okay, so that was our feature. You just had to be there, where we relive Usain Bolt winning Olympic gold for the third time in a row in the men's 100 meters, defeating Justin Gatlin in Rio 2016. Don't go away. We'll be right back right after this break.
Who shops at Creative Building Finishes? You, the homeowner who creates luxurious spaces with our floor and wall tiles. The contractor and builder who are convinced that our ceramic tiles are right for the job. The architect and designer who make dreams come true with our wood look and porcelain tiles. Superior customer service, knowledgeable staff, inviting showroom, and you get where this is going, right? Shop 5 Red Hills Road or call 876-929-5553. Get tiles, get Creative Building Finishes.
Are you ready for something mega? Spend $6,500 or more before GCT. Drop your entry in the box and you could win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels Tour promotion. April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Grace, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst. Juice Concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart. Best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
You ever get bun yet? The bun was sweet so much you can't resist. Me not talk about heartbreak. Me not talk about the bun with full of spice, raisin, and the perfect glaze. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. This is the bun where everybody need this Easter. If you don't get bun, you not live life right. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. Get the best type of bun from the right people. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. The bun you have to get with love in every bite. Available in select supermarkets.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackhammer. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Hiring is tough. You spend weeks, maybe months searching but still can't find the right fit. And even when you do, onboarding, payroll, and benefits become another headache. Stop wasting time. Let Talentbox Caribbean do the work at a fraction of the cost. From sourcing to interviewing, we do it all. Don't settle for the wrong hire. Schedule your strategy call today. Call 876-960-0066 or visit www.talentboxcaribbean.com. Talentbox Caribbean, connection made easy.
At Kia, driving your future means joining the movement that inspires. Whether it's the small but mighty Picanto hatchback or the top-of-the-line tech-rich Sorrento SUV, there's a Kia that perfectly fits your lifestyle and your budget. ATL Automotive has gotten Jamaicans behind the wheels of thousands of Kias for the past 7 years. And we're ready to get you behind the wheel of a Kia too. Simply visit the nearest Kia showroom for a test drive now.
Calling all golfers! The 3rd annual Stories to Create charity golf tournament is happening on July 19 at the Constant Spring Golf Course, and you don't want to miss it. Come out and compete in 8 exciting challenges, from longest drive to beat the pro. And yes, you'll get your shot at $5 million in the hole-in-one contest. Prizes, surprises, and a powerful cause supporting youth and storytelling programs through EHAS Inc. Register now and swing with purpose. Visit ehasinc.org or email info@ehasinc.org and we'll see you on the green.
You're listening to a rebroadcast of Sports Nation Live.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Raby. With me is Andrew Bogues Anderson on the other side of the glass, my technical operator / production assistant. And we are joining Wayne Walker online at the ANTHIC Corporate Area Championships at Jamaica College. Wayne, what's the latest?
Thank you very much, Alex Twebe. You've joined us just in time for the final event of the championship, where we just saw a stretch duel between Excelsior and Wolmer's, which eventually decided the girls' title. And it was Excelsior on that anchor leg, a brilliant anchor leg, and they won the girls' title by 360 points, 356 to Wolmer's. The winner of that 4x400 meters would have going to be the winner of the Corporate Area Championship, the final day here at Jamaica College. We're about to see the 4x400 meters for boys, which is the final event of the championship. So what we're going to do before it gets very noisy is to talk to Mr. Michael. We talked to Michael last week down at the King of the Ring, and we're here again with him. He's celebrating for the Excelsior team. He's the head coach, and we're going to get a quick chat with him to find out how he felt about that final stretch duel between Wolmer's and Excelsior. I'm sure you're happy for Excelsior, but Michael, just looking at the race, I thought Excelsior had too much to do to catch up. She did catch up, but in the straightaway, she pulled on her reserve and came back home.
Well, that is Deandra Kelly. She's a senior, she's a vice captain, and she's one of the team leaders, and she did that. She led from the front, and she has not lost a 400-meter race at champ. So she wasn't planning to lose that one. At Corporate Area champ, she has not lost one yet. And this is her final year. And I'm really proud of what she did, and that is how you win. You win championships by winning like that. And I'm very proud of this team. We had our mishaps, we had our hiccups, but this team came through, and I'm very proud to say that I'm the head coach of the Celso High School girls team.
Yeah. You knew going into the last event that it was going to be that which was going to determine the championship. What did you tell the girls?
Well, I didn't say anything to them. At the end of the day, we came out this morning and that listen, if everybody does what they're supposed to do, we will be victorious. All we have to do was keep on scoring, and just keep turning over, not lose our composure. As I said, we had our hiccups. Triple jump girls, no points. 2 girls, no score. So that's something that kind of affected the team. But the team rose to the challenge. So I have nothing to say, but I'm just glad for this team.
How do you feel about their chances going into the Boys and Girls Championship, which is about 4 weeks away? What do you have to work on going into that?
Well, this is usually a test for us going into champ. And what I start to do tells me that they are going to be ready for that battle. And it is only going to make it even better when we get there. But this team is stronger for this.
And I'm sure you're only aware that this is just the corporate area because the big guns are out in central Jamaica and so on.
Well, you see, we have a test. They say the strongest steel goes to the hottest fire. So we are going through our fire now, and we are getting stronger, and we are waiting for the big one.
Mm-hmm. So before we go, the last question, you're happy with how things are at the moment, you say?
Definitely. And as always, top 5 is our goal. Top 5. We're aiming for top 5, and that's all we're going to do.
Mm-hmm. What are the people we should look out for champs on your team, though?
Oh, well, you just saw her. You just saw Deandra Kelly. You can look out for Najada Seymour, Kayla Bailey, Altony James. These are some of our strongest people out there. Brianna Brown. These are people who are out there, and I know they will give us scoring points at champs.
Michael, thanks so much for talking to me, and congratulations on winning the girls' title here.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's Michael Vassell. He's the head coach of the Excelsior High School team. Of course, we spoke with him last week at the King of the Ring, and we're talking to him a second time. Well, I tell you what, we're in the penultimate changeover for the 4x400 meters for boys, and it's the last event of the championship. It will not determine the championship because Kingston College are well out front as far as the point tally is concerned. There are 440 points coming into the final event, and they're leading Calabar. Calabar have 363 points, so there's no question about who the boys' winners will be. KC will retain their title, but they're leading on the penultimate leg of the 4x400 meters, and they're well ahead of Excelsior High School. Calabar is also there as well, but the purple and white been cheered on by a massive crowd in the stands. They come to the line now. Kingston College, in fact, that was the final leg, and Kingston College winners. So add the 12 points to the 440 points that they came into the final event with, and you get their total for the championship, 452 points, and they're massive champions here at the Corporate Area Championships. And you heard there from Michael Vassell, the coach of Excelsior. We're going to try to see if we could grab a hold of the Kingston College coach, Mr. Leaford Grant. He's a very difficult man to pin down. But while we try to get a chance with Leaford, let us give you some other results that we thought were standing. In fact, the Excelsior team, they won in 3 minutes 44.73 seconds, and that is the 4x400 meters for girls. Wolmer's for 3 minutes 45.91. In the Class 3 girls 200 meters, Latrice East, the outstanding athlete out of Wolmer's, you know her. She landed a personal best today, 23.27. The girls and boys championship record is 23.07. Just for context, it tells you the kind of form she's in to throw down 23-27 here at Jamaica College. We're going to be looking at one or two other results that we've got for you in terms of outstanding people. The Medley Boys Open, that too was a brilliant one. And Calabar won in 3 minutes 32.28. Jamaica College was second in 3 minutes 33.26. And Kingston College third, 3 minutes 42.66. Wolmer's again had an outstanding runner in Tiana Marshall. She did 13.20 seconds to win the Class 2 girls 100 meters hurdles, and that's not a bad time at all. Kingston College also had an outstanding man in Amal Glasgow. He won the Class 1 boys 400 meters in 46.93 seconds. Nicoy Bramwell over Calabar, possibly the most outstanding high school athlete so far in all of schools track and field in Jamaica. He's a Class 2 boy, but he has the fastest time against all classes in the 400 meters in Jamaica as high school is concerned. Today he logged a personal best, 21.45 seconds to win the Class 2 boys 200 meters. That too was another brilliant performance from him. So we're looking forward to some of these big names to compete at championships this year and to see how the championship will unfold. I just asked I was talking to someone from Kingston College, and when they gave me the boys rundown with Kingston College leading with 440 going into the final event, I said to the coach, I won't call his name, I said, is this we're going to see a champ? And he said, yes, this is the order that's going to come back. And the order we have here is Kingston College, Calabar, Jamaica College, and Excelsior. But again, there are other schools who will be taking points from the big three, the big four at champs, so the dynamics will change massively when it comes to the big championships at the National Stadium. So we've come to the end here of the corporate area championships. It has been over 2 days, and the Jamaica College has staged another outstanding and a fantastic championship. Not seeing Leaford Grant, the coach of Kingston College, in my sight at all. I've been walking the field to see if I could grab a hold of him, but we're not seeing him at the moment. I'm still going to hold on a bit to see if we could grab a hold of him, because the KC team is now making its way onto the field to celebrate along with Excelsior as the boys and girls champion. So just give a second. Let me see if I could grab a hold of Leaford Grant. If I can't, and then I'm sure we'll have other opportunities to chat with him. But it's been a fantastic meet here at Jamaica College, and Wolmer's, Excelsior, KC, and Calabar are the top four. And the performances, I'm sure, and if you see them, Alric, well, it's not possible for you to see them here clearly, but they're celebrating like they're champs. This one they take very, very seriously. Clearly means a lot to these schools. And I suppose you could tell from the sort of reaction that Michael Vassar gave when Excelsior won the 4x400 meters that this is serious. It's not just another meet leading into championship. This is one that they really, really wanted. They've gotten it out of the way, and it's now upwards and onwards to the national championship, you believe. Right. But I'm still not able to hold on to Mr. Leaford Grant. And let me see first. 1 second.
But when? Like you said,
okay, so I'm now seeing Mr. Leaford Grant. So let me see if I could grab a hold of him and take a quick chat with him, Alric. And again, Excelsior and Kingston College are the champions of the corporate area boys and girls championship. And let me see if I could grab a quick word with Leaford Grant, the coach of Kingston College. He's walking towards me with a smile on his face. Leaford, if you could just give me 2 minutes of your time, we're live on air. Apologies for ambushing you, but I just have to grab a chat with you. Congratulations on retaining the boys' title here at JC. I was just telling my listeners that this clearly means a lot, given the celebration that we've seen from the Kingston College boys. Yes, boys and girls championship is a big one, but being king of the corporate area is also a big thing for you.
Yes, we don't want to lose focus too, because boys and girls championship is the main one for us. We are always very competitive in the corporate area championship, and not by now it's what, the Dave Murray Trophy. Mm-hmm. So we don't mind. We are the first one to have a hold on that trophy. So congratulations to the boys.
Yes. All right. So what's your view on what happened here today? I mean, as I say, it's serious business every meet you go to, yeah? But what did you draw from this meet in particular, so close to the champ?
Well, what it means, is that the boys knows how to compete. And when you're competing under pressure situation like these, where points are involved, it's just a good feeling, like a dress rehearsal before championship. As long as we don't pressure the boys, most boys only did one event, so nobody came under extreme pressure. And the boys learn how to compete at this level.
Where are you now? You're 4 weeks away from champ. If you're to give a sort of report card on where you think you are at the minute, you're what, 60% there, 70% there? Where are you?
We're still preparing. There are still some areas that we're looking at. I would say at 4 weeks out, we're about 85-90% there. We actually know the team, but there are still some areas, some of the great areas we need to fill in.
All right, so generally you're happy?
Yeah, man, I'm happy. And especially today, that's the trophy, Dave Mary trophy. We have to be the first holders of that trophy.
Well, I guess you won't let us forget that. Thank you so much, Leaford.
Yeah, man, thank you.
All right, so you're hearing there from Leaford Grant. He is a coach of the Kingston College team. It's the first time of Corporate Era Championship that they're giving. It's Carol Long, who is the girls' champion winners. Their name will be on the Carol Long trophy, and the Dave Mary for the boys. Yes, they announced that at the launch of the championship. All right, so I suppose that's what we have to put the lid on our report here. It's going to see our first report, but it's our only report because the championship has ended with Kingston College and Excelsior, the boys and the girls champions. Alric?
Right. When last week you mentioned how impressed you were with the Jamaica College 4x4 team. I didn't see that impressive run this time around. They finished about third here.
No, because they ran different people. As you heard, Leaford said for his Kingston College team, he ran them sparingly. JC ran 3 different boys from the ones who ran at the stadium last week. And this is what meets like these do, you know. You, as a journalist and as somebody who is analyzing champs going forward, you've got to be careful because these coaches use these meets to test different people to see who are strong where, who can do what under what condition. It's a sort of dynamic that you'll never fully understand. It's just about having to sit, look, and hope that you guess best as possible understand what they're doing. But yeah, today you'll see KC run a personal best, and next week they're beaten. But when you look at the team, they're not the same.
Right. Okay, when we'll touch base with you, I guess you'll be heading down to the National Stadium now, where the.
Well, I'm not heading to the stadium. I'm going down to the National Stadium.
Okay, you're going down to the National Stadium.
Yeah, we travel to the National Stadium, Albert.
We have the Walter Rogers age group swimming championships as well as the SW Isaac. Hello? Okay.
Well, all right. So I'll travel to the National Stadium. I think both will head down there, but I'm traveling down there.
Okay, then that was Wayne Walker at the Corporate Era Championships at Jamaica College. We take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Share in the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC Saucy Wings with 2 new flavors. Saucy Wings. Mango habanero and buffalo. Spicy. KFC we have Saucy Wings. Delicious. Spicy the best. So a new KFC Saucy Wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New Saucy Wings is for me.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
But is this real? Hey, Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening. Mr. Daniels, the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger.
Sir, the clicks are off the charts.
Hello, sales? What's the emergency? 9,000 clicks in one day? 3,000 order? So how much we have left? What? I soon call you back. Mr. Nakamoto, it's Danny from Jamaica. I need 5,000 of the big ones. We're back in business.
Yes, sir. Arigato. Suene.
Amplify your your brand. Let Nationwide 90 FM assist you in tapping into a captivated audience across our social media platforms. For more information, contact us at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Businesses, companies, and entrepreneurs, let's supercharge your brand.
You're listening to a rebroadcast of Sports Nation Live.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alric Swiby. With me is Andrew Boggs Anderson. And we'll be talking some Olympics, giving you some Olympic news now, as we'll be talking with the president of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Christopher Samuda. Now, it will be an Olympic Games in Paris and an Independence Day in Jamaica to remember, as the Jamaica Olympic Association, JOA, and Puma International join forces to bring to a global citizenry an experience in friendship and the mutuality in sports and cultural exposure of Jamaica's culture. The JOA and the Puma will be partnering to celebrate Jamaica's independence in Paris on August 6th and a JOA Day on August 7th in the historic capital of France, which is known universally for its avant-garde and exquisite taste for cuisine and art. Now, like I said earlier, we are joined by the president of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Mr. Christopher Samuda. Christopher, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your listeners, and thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Let's jump right into it. How did this idea came about to celebrate Jamaica's independence and JOA Day?
Well, gentlemen, when this administration came into being, we thought that at an Olympic Games, we should not only showcase Jamaica culture, but we also seize the opportunity to have a forum so that our athletes can visit and perhaps some commercial deals can be broken at that forum. So we inaugurated what we call Olympic Manor in 2018 at the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. We held it at a very nice place overlooking a lake, and we had it for 2 or 3 days. 3 days, in fact. It was an exposé of Jamaica culture, but we also welcomed the opportunity for our athletes to attend. They were interviewed by international media at the Olympic Manor, and they were able to speak to businessmen and also Olympic aficionados. It went well, and we said that we would repeat it in Tokyo, but then COVID came, and we had to cancel arrangements. So Paris is on our doorstep, and we thought it best that we would, of course, mount another Olympic Manor with the same objectives in mind. I had a discussion with Puma. I indicated to Puma that we would want to collaborate because the partnership has gone for so many years. And we have enjoyed a very good partnership with Puma International. And they normally have a house, Puma House, at the Olympic Games. So once the idea was floated, immediately they seized on it. So we're going to be partnering with them at their house for August 6th for Independence Day. And then August 7th now, we're going to celebrate the JOA Day. Both, of course, are historic in the sense that normally we put on our Olympic Manor. But this is the first time, and I believe perhaps globally, that an international shoe and apparel, sport apparel company is joining forces with a National Olympic Committee to export, and I use that word deliberately, Jamaican culture in sport, music, food, at an Olympic Games.
Right.
So we're looking forward to a very successful collaboration in Paris. And all of this, gentlemen, is in the interest of our athletes and in the interest of Jamaica.
Right. Now, our listeners would readily understand what our Independence Day celebration is all about. But explain what is a JOA Day.
Well, this is the first time that we're going to celebrate JOA with an international, as they have described it, an international empire in sport apparel. It is going to be showcasing JOA as a brand. But of course, it will also be very eclectic in terms of brand Jamaica, in terms of showcasing our athletes, showcasing our food. So we thought that JOA is now, in fact, as Puma had indicated, we're no longer a local brand. We have become regional. And now this activation seeks now to make us an international brand.
Right.
So this is part of our offering to Jamaica, part of Brand Jamaica, But as I said, we think we should accentuate Joey brand just to ensure that persons understand that we also are an instrument of change in sport, and we are fulfilling that responsibility. And by doing so, by putting on a Joey Day, we are exposing persons to the values of sport and the value of sport.
Right. And tell me, how will such celebrations look for our Independence and Joey in Paris?
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly it is going to, a lot of persons are going to be passing through. Not only persons in the sport fraternity, but movers and shakers in business who are going to be in Paris. So to that extent, we are exposing Jamaica to perhaps cavalcade of persons who would never have had the opportunity of experiencing Jamaica culture and knowing a little bit about the Jamaica Olympic Association. Furthermore, we have plans to stream it. So we are in discussions with one of our partners to do so. So Brand Jamaica, the Joey, Puma, will at the same time be showcased globally for global audience. That can only be a positive move for Jamaica, and we're hoping that it will have also commercial results for athletes as well as our administrators who will be there as part of the delegation once their sport qualifies. So it is going to be a huge impact, and if all goes well, a global audience will see Jamaica on display for those 2 days, and also recognize that solid partnerships in sports, Puma, Jamaica Olympic Association, can be very beneficial, not only for the parties involved, but also for stakeholders.
Right. Okay, there's no real cost you can put to further highlighting Brand Jamaica as well as Brand Joey. But what sort of a budget are you looking at to host these 2 days of celebrations?
Mm-hmm. Well, put it this way, the figures are being crunched now. I won't be able to tell you specifically, but what I can say to you, gentlemen, is that we have comfortably executed Olympic manner at previous games. This will not be any different at all. And certainly, as we do these activations, as we have always said, that you have to have a business model. We don't put on things to be a lot breeders. We don't put on things to be at risk. But certainly, the execution in Gold Coast and the execution in at other games, limited as it may be, we have been able to comfortably deal with them from a financial point of view.
Right. And so how will patrons participate in these 2 days of celebration, face-to-face, online, or both?
Well, certainly there will be specially invited guests, and physically people will be attending. Once we have the streaming in place, persons, of course, will be able to go online and see exactly what is happening. Jamaica also will be able to see what is happening on those 2 specific days. We may also negotiate to have another day or 2, depending on the schedule and the availability of our athletes, because we understand that the Olympic Games, that the athletes' interest is paramount. And so we don't want to disturb their schedule, because at the end of the day, we want to know that they are successful in their endeavors. But once they're available, albeit outside of August 6th and 7th, we may make appropriate arrangements. So it will not only be confined to August 6th and 7th in terms of a global audience accessing those 2 activations, but it may be another day as well. So we just have to look at the schedule, and as I said, we must never disturb the interest of athletes at these games. If their schedule does not permit, so be it.
Right. Will there be a cost to those who want to experience Jamaican culture during these 2 days of celebration?
No, not at all. There's no cost at all coming in. Persons will be specifically invited. We will crunch that list with Puma International. We will be flexible, because the objective, of course, is to demonstrate the solidity as well as the value of the partnership of Puma and Jamaica, but also, of course, importance of the Jamaica culture. But as you can appreciate, with all activations and events, you have to put a lid on numbers, all right? Although persons I know are going to be over the moon and will want to attend, and we will try as best as we can to accommodate those persons, because we want everybody to be exposed to that experience, enjoy that experience. But as I said, in planning events, you have to have certain limitations.
Right. So it's only via invitation that you could enter the venue for these 2 days of celebration. So if someone is in Paris and want to experience Jamaica's cuisine or music, they couldn't walk into the venue and share the experience.
It's not. It won't be a walking event. And just to give you a sense of what's happening, 300 and 400 persons can be at the event on a particular day or passing through. So in terms of the numbers, I think that we'll be able to capture a lot of persons who will be coming and going. So for instance, one day I would imagine that perhaps more than 4,000 persons will be passing through. Okay? So to that extent, I don't think we will diminish the value to a person who wishes to come. But what you have to do is to indicate to us before. You just simply can't land in Paris and then walk straight into the house.
Right.
Because there are security measures that we have to put in place by virtue of the local organizing committee of the games. Okay, so we also have to adhere to certain security measures and certain security conditionalities. But as I said, as best as we can, we would want everybody to experience it, but events have to have a limitation in terms of number.
Right. And this may be Usain Bolt's first appearance at a global event since his retirement, mainly because of COVID. I'm assuming that he is one of the persons you're targeting to be a part of this celebration.
No, undoubtedly. And remember now, he's still with Puma now.
Right.
He is Puma's icon. So certainly he will be there. And certainly there will be other athletes sponsored by Puma who will be there. And it is not only going to be confined to track and field because, as you know, the Olympic Games is a multi-sport event.
Right.
And it attracts various interests, a myriad of interests in sport. So I expect stars who are not track and field will also be there. But of course, closer to the day, I'll be able to say more where that is concerned when we look at the numbers and when the invitations are settled.
Right. Tell me, apart from being the sponsors, what role will Puma play?
Well, Puma has always played a collaborative role with the Jamaica Olympic Association in relation to sport development. So, for instance, at the Games, for both Independence and Joey, as I said, it is not necessarily what I call, gentlemen, a sweat-down party. We don't put on a sweat-down party. What we put on is a festival, an exposition of Jamaica culture, and it extends to business as well. So, if some business interest is interested in any sport, then the appropriate arrangements will be made. And of course, Puma will facilitate that. So it's a business forum that is subsumed in a festival of Jamaican culture, food, music, even art we are planning.
Okay, so that deals with the celebration of Jamaica's independence and Joey Day. Let's move to some other business that was announced by the Joey recently. You renewed the partnership with Supreme Ventures Limited to the tune of $75 million over 5 years. What will this money be used for?
Capacity development of our members' associations. And when I say that, I mean looking at their governance structure, providing educational forum, looking at how they can market and brand themselves and commercialize their assets. It will also look in terms of equipment. It will look in terms of facilitating their participation at international games and qualification games. We will also look in terms of our own Stamina product. We have a product called Stamina, which is a commercial stroke educational forum in which we bring in experts and we encourage, of course, our member associations and those even outside of our membership to come and look and to learn about the business and commercialization of sport. So the investment that we have negotiated with Supreme Venture, it is going to be multi-purpose, all right? And as you can understand, gentlemen, we certainly can't be selective, all right? But we do everything, as I said in a previous forum, to ensure that we can construct or blueprint a sport industry, which Jamaica doesn't have at all. And I think all of this, every endeavor in sport, whether it is commercial, whether it's just simply branding, we must have a national plan to create a sport industry. It just simply cannot be without an objective or goal. And a sport industry is, of course, an engine of development. It can be a significant contributor to our GDP, and it also employs. So we are doing all of this in our little part of the wood to say to stakeholders, we have to build capacity, we have to strengthen institutions, because the objective at the end of the day is the blueprint, a sport industry.
Right. You're listening to Sports Nation Live, and we're talking with President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Mr. Christopher Samuda. Now, Christopher, when a lot of associations is finding it difficult to source sponsorship, why has the JOA seen in such a favorable light by these corporate bodies?
Well, gentlemen, as you know, a principle of business, if your house is in order and your house is attractive, then persons would want to come and occupy, not necessarily as residents, but as tenants. Okay? And I think that we have done is a reasonably good job in importing corporate financing and capital into sport and to providing a bang for the buck experience for them. And I think any corporate interest wants to know that, yes, they are contributing to sport development, but at the same time, they want to be able to get some sort of value so that they can have returns that will facilitate their reinvestment in the future. So corporate Jamaica and corporate interests, regionally and internationally, want to see an organization profiled, governance structure, sound financial framework, a good brand marketing strategy, integrity. They will come in and they will invest. But at the same time, when they come in and sit at the negotiating table, you have to say to them, this is a value that we are bringing, we're simply bringing a check to us. And I've always said that I'm not into check presentations and so on like that. What we need to do is to give bang for the buck to our sponsors, to our financiers, to our capitalists, so that they in turn can say, okay, this is a line item in my financials, and it is your way that gave me value.
Right. Now, one of the objectives of the JOA is to broaden the number of sporting disciplines that qualify for the Olympics and other global competitions. In what way has the JOA been helping these associations?
One, in terms of financing their qualifiers. Okay. Previously, a lot of our associations found it very difficult to fund their athletes going to qualify an event in order to transition to the Olympic stage. We have stepped in and we have meaningfully put our money on the table and assisted them. And the result is there. For the international games thus far, we have had historically more sports participating and qualifying. And even in their own championships, under the aegis of the international federations, they have been doing exceptionally well. And you will see that we have broadened the representation in terms of the number of sports participating. The Pan Am Games, the CAC Games, the Tokyo Games have been all historical where that is concerned. And we feel that we must do so in order to give our youth a myriad of opportunities in sport, and also to build the framework, as I said previously, of a sport industry. A sport industry cannot be built around one. Our per capita doesn't allow that. The financial framework in sport here does not allow that. We have to import the capital in order to build those pillars of a sport industry. And you do so by offering capitalists a myriad of opportunities in sport. And this is why we want to expand the menu of sports that are offered at international games. And also, as I said, most importantly, to give our young people a chance to excel. Not everybody is a footballer, cricketer, or a track and field athlete.
Right.
But we have proven that we have excellent fencers, we have excellent taekwondo athletes, we have excellent judo athletes, gymnasts. And of course, although it is not a Olympic sport as yet, netball.
Right, most definitely. No, some bittersweet news, I would describe it as Celine Fraser-Pryce recently reiterated her decision to retire from track and field after the Paris Olympic. Tell me what you think she'll be most missed for, and what kind of a mark you think she would have left on the sport when she retires.
Well, I would say that Shelley continues to make her mark, and people continue to recognize that mark as being invaluable. She has brought to the sport a sense of responsibility as an athlete, discipline, courage, bravery, commitment to country. She has brought to the sport a view of friendship, conviviality. We all, yes, will compete, but at the end of the day, we are friends. And even in competition, we must context our relationship in friendship. She also has brought to the corporate world a bang for the buck view. You can invest in an athlete and get returns. And we don't have to articulate. We see her in many advertisements. And she has a very good relationship with Grace. So Shelley has been, as I have said, in other fora, a standard bearer.
Right.
Just not a gold medalist. And this is what we encourage at the Jamaica Olympic Association. Your legacy, yes, may be recorded in the number of medals you have won and the records you have established. But generations will acknowledge you greater if they understand that your legacy was inherently valued and offer other generations a script for standard bearer athletes. She will always be etched in the history, okay? And certainly the Jamaica Olympic Association is going to be looking at how best that we can celebrate those attributes that reside in Shelley Ann. And we will make that announcement after she retires.
Right.
And I have no doubt that Shelley is going to look to see how best that she can contribute to the administration of her own sport. Because sometimes we allow our talent to go dormant after they have brought us glory. We must look at it as another phase now. This is a phase of governance. It's a phase of administration. And those same attributes that she has demonstrated as an athlete, she will now exploit in those areas for the benefit of our country.
Right. Like we have been talking, Shelley has decided she'll walk away from the sport, track and field after the Paris Olympic. But several of our senior athletes have already retired. Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell, Michael Frater, Aileen Bailey, Veronica Campbell-Brown, just to name a few. No, but what do you think of our current crop of athletes?
Mm-hmm. No, I think we have a very good kid of athletes now. Certainly from a performance point of view, there's tremendous potential. How we hone that talent and how we create viability in that talent in terms of years is something that we also have to look at. Because when you look at our history, gentlemen, without the benefit of a survey or evaluation, I would say about 90 to 95% of our athletes emerging, track and field athletes emerging from champs do not transition to the regional or international stage. And we have to look at that.
Right.
We have to look at that quite seriously. But those athletes who have excelled and have retired, we must also look at a way of how we can use them to say to the current and the future generation, these are the sort of credentials that you must have in order to make it to the top.
Right.
These are sort of the credentials that you must have in order to be standard bearers. These are the credentials that you must have in order to self-actualize. So certainly I know that I've had discussions with Michael Frater, who's the chairman of our Athletes Commission at the Jamaica Olympic Association.
Right.
We have had activations in the past for former Olympians. But Mike and myself have had discussions that we're going to concretize certain ideas that we have that will be practical.
Mm-hmm.
How can we have those athletes interface in a very formal way, not just simply sit down and speak with them? How can we use those athletes who have done it, who have been examples regionally and internationally, to say to the next generation, this is the pathway. And we're not only going to identify the pathway, we're going to work with you now to ensure that the milestones along that pathway are hit, so that at the end of the day that you can say to yourself, well, I have achieved. And I have not only achieved for my country, but I have brought something to the sporting arena that is going to be lasting and enduring. But we have to, as in all cases, there has to be a methodology.
Right.
And a methodology that sees the contribution of many stakeholders. Because we realize that the sport industry cannot be built by the Jamaica Olympic Association. All hands have to be on deck for that.
True. Okay, finally, Chris,
yes.
What's your hope in terms of the number of disciplines that Jamaica will be represented in at the Paris Olympics, and what would you consider success for our team going to the Paris Olympics?
Mm-hmm. Well, as you know, diving has qualified. I will be able to tell you in the next month or two, because athletes are still trying to qualify. They are still qualifying tournaments as we speak, going on. By the end of March, April, I'll be able to say to you, look, the anticipated 8 sports are through the gate. Okay? I'm very optimistic where that is concerned. And gentlemen, keep your fingers crossed, because if the rugby senior team qualifies, that will be historic. Right? Very historic. And we're hoping that they will do so as an example to upcoming and younger women, that if I did it, you can do it. But certainly the number of sports that will be represented is success in and of itself.
Right.
Yes, performances are a measure of success, but we don't use that as an exclusive measurement. We look at how persons perform, the value that they have brought to the Olympic movement at the Olympic Games. And it's not necessarily just simply in the context of the Olympic Games itself, we look after as well. Because we have post-quiz after, we have exit meetings afterwards to see how best we can improve our performances at the game, but also how can we use the success at the game to ensure that there's a viable program for athletes, administrators, and coaches. So numerically, you have to use that as a measure of success, but that is exclusive and not the only measurement. We look at other criteria.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Samuda, for stopping by and speaking with us. We wish you and your team all the best.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to you, gentlemen, and your listeners for supporting the Olympic movement. And I can only say continue to support and to keep us on our tool.
It's our pleasure. That was Christopher Samuda, president of the Jamaica Olympic Association. We take a break and come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
The following is
sharing the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
New KFC saucy wings. Attention all wings lovers. KFC saucy wings with 2 new flavors. Saucy wings. Mango habanero and buffalo. Hot, spicy. KFC we have saucy wings. Delicious, spicy, the best. So a new KFC saucy wings crunch the rest. Nobody does wings like KFC. New saucy wings is for me.
New KFC saucy wings. Delicious, hot, and spicy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC saucy wings. It's finger licking good.
You're listening to a rebroadcast of Sports Nation Live.
Okay, welcome back to Sports Nation Live. We'll be talking some track and field now, as Jamaica is again expected to top the medals table at the 51st staging of the Cardiff Athletics Championships at the Kirana James Stadium in Grenada from March 30 to April 1. The Dre Threes on Friday released a 79-member team for the championships. Edwin Allen Hayes, Tiana Lee Tarilong, and former St. Elizabeth technical runner Javon Dunkley headline Jamaica's team that will be seeking a 38th straight hold on the title. The team will be strengthened by the addition of the top eligible women's heptathlon and men's decathlon finisher from the ISA Boys and Girls Athletics Championships, which is scheduled for March 19 to 23 at the National Stadium. Jamaica, with a total of 78 medals, 40 gold, 22 silver and 16 bronze, topped the medal standings at last year's edition of the meet held in the Bahamas. Now, to join us to speak on that is Coach Michael Carr. He's one of the coaches selected for the team to the Cardiff Games. He's also the head coach of Wolmer's Girls. Michael, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Alaric, and good evening to the audience. Good afternoon, I should say.
I was wondering if you're in England or something.
Hello?
Right, I'm hearing it clear.
Okay.
Yes. Let's start with the Cardiff team, because we also want to talk about Wolmer's preparation for the girls and boys championships. But let's talk up a bit on this Cardiff team. 79 members selected to represent Jamaica at the Cardiff Games. A lot of Jamaicans refer to it as Jamaica's Sports Day. Jamaica is expected to dominate. They're going for the 38th straight hole. I believe it's since the inception, it's only 5 times that Jamaica has not topped the medals table. Tell me, you wouldn't have get a chance to really study the athletes on the list yet. But from your glimpse of the list of athletes, your thoughts on what to expect from the Jamaicans?
Well, I expect a dominant performance as usual. I think, right across we have a spread that should dominate again. The only thing we need to look at is that a lot of the kids from the other islands are here in Jamaica in terms of going to school here.
Right.
So when we are going to compete against some of those same kids who probably would have won a champs or what have you. So it is expected anyway for us to once again dominate.
Right.
Regardless of.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of those athletes that would have been living and training in Jamaica, competing at the Boys and Girls Championships, the cradle for Jamaica's track and field, that would have given them some advantage in terms of medaling. Are you familiar with any of these athletes that you expect to check?
Not much.
Right.
But I know they are here.
Uh-huh.
And if my memory serves me good, I remember last year when the team was traveling, it's like you nearly had to get another plane for other members of other countries who are actually based in Jamaica. And I see that this time it should be no different. And but then again, guess what happened now? If you can't beat them, you have to join them.
Most definitely.
And I think that is what some of the islands are saying. Hey, let's go to Jamaica and get some of this good coaching and thing and see if we can improve our standard here, which, we are doing, and they are seeing the results, basically.
Right.
But overall, as I said before, our team, I think, is pretty balanced in all areas, whether it be in the field or on the track.
Right.
And I expect, again, a dominant performance. And what is good, too, is that it is coming right after champs, for which a lot of these athletes would be in probably peak condition.
Right.
So that will even enhance their performance some more. But as part of the coaching staff, we just have to put away certain school thing and realize that this is a Jamaica thing.
Right.
So we are no longer rivals. We are now one team.
True.
And we should now combine whatever talent we have to defeat the rest of our countries. So we should forget about the Calabar, the JC, the Edwin, the Wolmers, the Homewood, what have you. And now realize that we are now wearing the black, green and gold.
True.
And we go out and defend the black, green and gold.
Sure. And speaking of defending the black, green, and gold, like I said, a number of the athletes from other Caribbean countries have been training in Jamaica, and we saw recently where Trinidad and Tobago came to Jamaica to study our program. You are expecting this year's Carifta, with all of that being said, to be more competitive?
Probably a little bit more in a few areas, but not much to let us believe that we can win again, And then what happens is that the spread is across a few islands. So you'll find that one of these islands, for example, let's say Trinidad, just for example, might have a 1 or 2 athletes. Otherwise, St. Kitts might have one, Bahamas, whatever, might have like one athlete. And that is not enough to disturb our medal tally, I would think.
Right. Coach, you feel that the fact that this is an Olympic year the Olympic fever is in the air. I know that these are junior athletes, but they are drawing from the strength, from the expectations of the senior athletes. As they prepare to go over to Paris to represent the country, they are represent the country on the Caribbean front. You believe that this Olympic fever, this Olympic year, it's gravitating towards these junior athletes which will help to motivate them even more to dominate even more.
Well, yes, and remember, this year you also have the World Juniors this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot to look forward to, right? So being the dominant force we are and the powerhouse we are in track and field, yes, the Olympics, and like I said, the World Juniors. So a lot of these athletes who are going to the Carifta Games, they are going to use these games also as part of their preparation for the World Juniors, which should be in about August or thereabout.
Right.
So there's a lot on the table, a lot at stake. One and two of them might have ambition to make the senior team, but I think the focus will be on the World Juniors after the Carifta Games. And
it seems as if the J3s, they are not taking anything for granted. They have selected the best athletes to represent the country, but they have also selected some of the best coaches. Tell us about the coaching staff. You would have been studying the list. You are part of the technical team. There's Dyke, Grant, yourself, some big name coaches at the
Michael
junior level.
Dyke.
Right, at the junior level.
Yeah.
It seems like we are going for something even greater than what we normally do at the Carifta Games.
I think so too, and I will once again say I think that with this year being the World Juniors, a number of these athletes are going to be on the World Juniors team, and probably some of these same coaches, probably the ones going with the World Juniors too. So there might be a continuity in all of this, because this coaching panel for the Carifta game is one of the more experienced coaching panel put together for a long time, So I don't know what plans the J3 have, but it's interesting to see the high caliber coaches that are going with this Carifta team. I think it is something in a plan for tomorrow at the same time,
Right. And let's move over to your territory now, Wolmer's Girls. You are the head coach. You have been the head coach for some time now. Champs is around the corner next week, to be exact. Next week's Tuesday it starts. What sort of a mood are you and your girls in as you get ready to take on the rest of the secondary schools at the ISA Boys and Girls Championships?
Okay, at this point, we are as ready as anybody else can be, because there's no turning back. It is just, let us say, hours away, basically. So if we're never ready before, we have to be ready now.
Right.
And it's something we cannot avoid. So whatever condition and shape we are in, we will have to enter the championship in the same shape and condition. But I think we are doing pretty well. We have some persons who, you're as good as your last performance, but I think we have a few persons who have the potential to get on the podium, if not on the podium, to get into the last 8. And because, remember, chances about medals, yes, but scoring points also.
Right.
And if you're not in the last 8, you can't score a point. So I think we have a few persons who have the quality, barring no misfortunes or anything, to get into the last 8. And like I said, one and two of them have the potential to get on the podium.
Speaking of scoring points, where do you expect to finish at the end of the championships?
All right. In the top 10. Okay, in the top 10. Last year we lost 5th place, by half a point. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we finished 6th by half a point last year. And we have nearly most of the girls back. Anywhere between 7 and 4, I think that's what we're looking at.
Right.
From everything that side.
You just missed out on winning the corporate era championships. Your girls must be ruined that missed opportunity. They must be hungry to do something special for themselves and the schools at boys and girls championships.
Yes, we lost the corporate area by 4 points. But you see that was quantity over quality. So hopefully, come champs, the cream will rise to the top. Yes, the girls are eager to go. We have a few little niggling injuries here and there to some of our key persons. I can just say this now without calling name, but there might be some names that persons are looking for at champs and probably will not see them based on unfortunate circumstances. But again, it is a TEAM. So everybody will have to rise and do their little much in order for the team to finish in the best position that is possible at the time. Championship, nothing put down, nothing is certain, and there's always areas that you believe that, hey, we're going to score here or we're going to medal here, and it don't happen. But an area that we were just not looking in that area, that's where it comes from. So, we play it as it comes day by day, event by event, and hope for the best.
Right. And tell me which area you think your team is strongest? Class 1, Class 2? Which area you think your team is strongest?
Every class has someone or someones who can do well. So I'm not going to look and say, well, this class won't. I think that every class has a possible finalist and probably medalist. So again, it's going to be a team effort, and I'm not singling out any class. You might have a class, yes, that has a little more class than some class, but it's not a case that we don't have persons in those classes who can probably get into the final.
Right.
There are a few names that everybody looking forward to see, like the Natrice East. That's a name that a lot of persons will be looking forward to see. And she will also be going to the Carifta game doing the sprint double for the under 17.
Right.
In class 2, there is Tiana Marshall in the hurdles. We have some good high jumpers in class 2 too, in Shaniqua Williams and Danielle Noble. And in class 3, we have some good sprinters, hurdlers. We also have the Gardner sisters, one in class 4 and one in class 1, who can get to the final and all of that. But overall, it will be a team effort that makes a difference. These are those persons who the team will be built around, and but everyone will have their part to play in the final outcome on the day.
Right. Coach Carr, you would have guided Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce's career while she was at Wolmer's. Tell me, is there an athlete in your batch right now that you would say to Jamaica, look out for this athlete?
Okay, I if I was to call a name, right, I would have probably looked to the east. Right. I would have probably looked to the east. Okay. She shows potential. And, there's a Gardner, Michaela Gardner too, who also shows potential. She's class 1. So I would go there and stick my head out and a limb to say probably those two show potential to go all the way, all things possible.
Right.
And when you talk about Shelina, remember, Shelley came to Wolmer's 1992. She left in 2006.
Right.
2008, she was Olympic champion. You know, and it shows, of course.
How great a coach you are.
Well, you say.
Right after the champ, you have the Carifta Games, you have the World Juniors, but you also have the pen relays. I'm sure. I mean, the Boys and Girls Championship is the big prize, but I'm sure you'll be looking at your team to see who would be ready, who is the right fit to represent Wolmer's at the pen relays also.
Well, you know, that has started already because you have to do your entries, you have to do certain things already. So that is kind of in place already for that. But, yes, and honestly, I would really love to go to the pens this year and they are forced to be reckoned with. You know, we have always been there and getting into finals and stuff. But I want to go there this year, and I say this publicly, to be a challenger. You know, and that's the plan right now.
Right.
I think we have the athletes to do that. And as you know, relays are relays. You need to get that baton around before you can say or do anything.
Right.
So, but I think we have competitors who can be very competitive at the end of the day.
How many relays you plan to enter your team?
Just 2, 4x1, 4x4.
Okay.
Yeah, 4x1, 4x4.
Well,
and I think we have a crack 4x1 team. You know, that will make the difference.
Right. You know, the Olympics is around the corner. You are expected to be one of our analysts throughout the Olympic coverage. Tell me what how are you gearing up? What's the mood you are in as you get ready for this Olympics?
Well, what I think we're looking forward to see. You know, this is Shelley's last Olympics. So that is all the moments that I'm gearing up to see. Having witnessed the first one, not looking forward to it, but it is what it is. See her compete at the last Olympics. And, you know, look at the new ones coming up because I believe that this Olympic is going to bring out some new stars. Some new competitors. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I have some young ones coming up. People like Liston and those girls. Even the school girl, Terrell.
Right.
Who to tell if she goes to trial, she might go, well, probably she might go to World Junior. But based on how she's running now, you know, she could be in that 6 for the relays.
Right.
Right, but I guess her focus will be on the World Juniors. And we'll go step by step, eh?
Right.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see how persons repeat based on performances at the last World Championship and to see how they do now take it to the Olympic Games. So there's a lot to look forward to.
We haven't heard much about from our top guns, so to speak, on the women's side since the start of the season. You're not concerned. I mean, your ears would be closer to the ground as it relates to track and field. So you would be in a better position to say what sort of a shape they are in, how strong the sprint team will be.
Now, everybody is preparing for the games. And everyone use different strategies to prepare. So at this point in time, I am not too concerned about not hearing them doing this and doing that. No, we are now in March. You have April, May, June, July. 4 to 5 months time away, I should say. So, step by step. I remember, we have some of the best coaches in the world, and we normally, they know how to get these athletes to peak when it matters most.
Right.
So, we leave it to the coaches who are strategically putting things together, So, not perturbed right now.
I mean, last World Championships, we had some big performances. What's your expectations for this Olympics?
Come again?
I said at the World Championship last year, we had some big performances, some surprise. Watson winning the 400 and stuff like that. What's your expectations for the Team Jamaica going to the Olympics?
Well, I see us doing as well as we did last year. And like I said, a few probably more surprises along the way. I also believe that we can do, like I said, do very well at these games. The area that I think will be competitive for us will be, I think, in the hurdlers. We have some young hurdlers who are coming through. We might find somebody there swinging a surprise. I am also, based on what Liston is doing right now, I am anxiously waiting to see how she will do at our trial.
Right.
Because remember, that's where it happens,
Mm-hmm.
You can do everything you want to know and what have you, but if you don't make it at the trial, you're going to have a problem.
Right.
And I think this is where our senior athlete has the edge over many of the others just coming. They know they have been there, done that. So when probably the junior or the young ones who's coming now might crack under pressure, the senior ones know how to handle the pressure. So trials will determine who goes and who doesn't.
Right.
So, you could have run 10 world records.
Yes.
If you don't go to the trials and make it, unless you have some form of medical exemption or something like that, it won't happen. So that's the day of reckoning at the trials.
Right. And speaking of the trials, I mean, with the quality athletes we have on the track as well as in the fields, Jamaica's trials would be like a mini Olympics.
Definitely. So it has been over the years, Yeah, man. So it has been over the years. You see, it's because we have such high quality athletes that's why you get that impression that this is. I remember, when we have our trials, you have the world this, you have the world that, you have the world this, and so that alone will tell you the standard of our trials.
Right.
Number 1 in the world, number 2 in the world, and that sort of way. So, rival only by USA, with an abundance of quality, not just a 1 or 2 athletes.
True.
So, that's it. But let me just touch on a quick point quickly.
Go ahead.
I see where the World Athletics are thinking of getting out the under 20, like the World Juniors. They are thinking that when they get rid of the World Youth already, which is under 18, now they are thinking of getting rid of the World Juniors, which is the under 20. Now, from my personal point of view, I don't support that. And I tell you why. I remember years gone back, I don't know if you...
No, I'm not that old. No, I'm not that old. No.
When West Indies were dominant in the cricket.
Right.
And we would have our 4-pronged pace attack. Do you know of those days? Did you read about them?
I experienced a couple of years of those days.
Oh, you did? Okay, so you're not that young then.
No, I'm not.
Right? And our 4-pronged pace attack was dominating the world. that was what kept us on top. No, what they cricketing, what the name? ICC.
Right.
Yeah, what they did, they cut down the amount of bouncer you can have in an over. So right away that quiet us. And they also did other things that would stifle our pace bowling and bring us down. Now I believe this region, the region, has done so well in track and field that what the World Athletics is doing to me is to stifle our track and field in the region, because we have been dominant in under 20s and coming up, and that little opportunity, that stage, they are now taking it away from the young athletes and stuff. So I think that is something designed to humble this little region. Because when you look, the region, when you put it all together, is probably 10, 12 million people. And we are defeating those countries with them, 100 and odd million and what have you, people, and send them a say, no, man. Them look at that on the map, you can't be so dominant and we, the big ones, not there. So let us find a way to bring them down. That is my opinion.
You don't think financial?
We have to be careful.
You don't think financial challenges is part of it, just as we are seeing with the Commonwealth Games?
No, sir. This is World Athletics. I don't see no financial problem with them. I don't see that. I mean, track and field don't have much money, but it is not that broke that you're going to cut out that.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You believe that might be what is coming from?
I'm just putting out possibilities.
Okay. So what do you think why they're trying to do this?
Like I said, there might be several possibilities. I can't say for sure unless I'm in the boardroom of the World Athletics.
Okay.
Well,
like I said, my opinion.
Right. Well, that's a good way to end the conversation there. Coach, thanks much for stopping by and sharing some of your thoughts with us.
No problem. No problem. I'm always available. I consider myself a part of the Nationwide family also. So, stern response to duty call,
Right. You're the black sheep. but again, thanks much and all the best.
Okay. Thank you for having me, Alric, and good evening to all the audience.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that was national coach and the head coach of Wolmer's Girls, Michael Carr. We take a break and we'll come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Is your business tax compliant? At Dodge & Global, we take the stress out of tax planning, ensuring you maximize deductions and minimize liabilities. From corporate tax to VAT compliance, we've got you covered. Call 876-929-3670 or 876-926-5210. Email us at info@dodgen.global. Visit us at dodgen.global. Dodge & Global, your tax experts.
Corian Solid Surface, so versatile and beautiful. It's non-porous, no sealing necessary, renewable and repairable, so easy to clean and maintain, and can be thermoformed into any shape. Choose Corian, the #1 solid surface in the world, when you want beauty and the best for your countertop. Visit Home International Limited, located at 104 Constant Spring Road. Telephone 755-1970
or 276-6448.
You're listening to a rebroadcast of Sports Nation Live.
Okay, good evening and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Rebe. With me is Angel Books Anderson. We're in the NFL segment, so I won't tell you that Liverpool won 4-1 against Brentford. I won't tell you Arsenal. They also won 5-0 against Burnley. But I won't mention all of that. I'll be talking about Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs Jerome, they won their third in 5 seasons. People are saying it's a dynasty, but what I want to know, when New England Patriots were winning, there was a big argument as to whether it was the coach's system or the quarterback that made New England did so well. Are you in the same argument with this Kansas City Chiefs team?
That's kind of difficult to say because Andy Reid has been getting a lot of praises. There have been talks that Andy Reid is now entering the conversation as one of the greatest coaches of all times. But without a doubt, this is being driven by the quarterback. There's no three-peat or there's no 3 titles without Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Andy Reid didn't have a title before Patrick Mahomes. He's made Super Bowls, but he doesn't have 3 Super Bowl rings without Patrick Mahomes. So, that argument was put to rest. That Tom Brady argument was put to rest.
I know you would say that.
A long time ago.
I know you would say that.
No, it is what it is. That argument has been put to rest. You know what I mean? We see, and I've said it for years. I've seen Bill Belichick pre-Tom Brady. I've seen him with Tom Brady, and I'm seeing him post-Tom Brady. He's been fired twice. That's what I'm saying. Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls and 2 with 1 with each. A Super Bowl at 2 different franchises. So, I mean, I think that argument is now put to rest. Similar to that Liverpool shameless plug that you just put in a while ago, it has been put to rest. But anyway, gentlemen, afternoon Paul, afternoon Remy, all is well?
Hey, good evening. No, just
yes, boss. Greetings.
You misinforming the listeners, but I'll just keep quiet.
No. We only speak facts on this program. I've said this many times. We only speak facts on this program. But anyway, we had an entertaining Super Bowl last week. I mean, the Super Bowl, the viewership was one of the highest viewership. I think 156 million. I think 202 million persons watched the halftime show. It was a spectacle. And I believe the game lived up to the hype. It wasn't the greatest offensive show that we've ever seen, but the game had everything. It had defense, it had offense, it had special team blunders, and it had opportunities for coaches to mess up. And I think one coach messed up more than the other. Paul, I'll start with you. You felt like the Kansas City Chiefs had the edge in the game. And I agreed with you that I believe Patrick Mahomes made a difference in the 2 teams. But for most of that game, the San Francisco 49ers outplayed them. What is the main reason why the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions today?
I think you have to look at 2 primary things. I do have to give Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, their props as far as, execution from a quarterback position and just decision-making from an offensive perspective. But Steve Spagnuolo and that defense, I would probably say 70 to 30%. 70% going to the defense is the reason why Kansas City won. They put on a performance that not only kept Kansas City in the game when they were down by about 10 points, but also gave them the opportunity to come back and for Patrick Mahomes to do what he needed to do in the further and stretch of that game.
Remy, I'll give you an opportunity. I mean, what the Kansas City Chiefs were dominated for, I think, 70% of that game. But they kept on keeping the game close, and I know I said it to you while we were sitting at the table together that the longer this game stays close, this is a Kansas City Chiefs victory. The Kansas City Chiefs win those games and the 49ers lose those games. And it came to pass. What you thought was the biggest difference in the game between the 2 teams?
Well, I mean, as you were saying, I mean, this game was definitely, 2 evenly matched teams, and that game of very fine margins. I echo the sentiments of what Paul said. I think that when the 49ers were early in the game, had control of the game, so to speak, the Chiefs' defense really kept them in it, and they did not allow the 49ers to run away with the game. And it gave, Reid and Mahomes a chance to settle down and find some things that worked. But also have to keep in mind that the first touchdown that the Chiefs got was a result of a special teams gaffe on the punt return that put them at the 16-yard line. And then the next touchdown they got was in overtime. So for the most part, it was pretty much a defensive struggle. I think the Chiefs really excelled red zone defense. I mean, there are a couple of times where the Niners were moving, and Spagnuolo and especially Chris Jones on third down just said, "No, you shall not pass," figuratively and literally, and held them to field goals. And as you said, Jerome, when we're there, once you give Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes the ball, you keep giving them the ball, and once they're within striking distance, they will strike, and that's exactly what happened in my opinion.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan. This is going to be his third Super Bowl loss, and each of those Super Bowls he's had at minimum a 10-point lead in each of those games.
Third, which is the other one?
In Atlanta.
So counting as coordinators now. Okay,
yeah, man, we do.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we do. On this show, we only talk facts. So Kyle Shanahan, this is his third Super Bowl loss. And all these losses has come with him having a double-digit lead. Remy, let me start with you.
Yeah, all right.
Is this an indictment on Kyle Shanahan's coaching? And the proverbial can't get the monkey off the back. Is this one of those cases?
I think he definitely has a role in it. I mean, the last two Super Bowls, when he 4 years ago when they played the Chiefs the first time, and last weekend, clearly, I mean, he's the head coach. There is some accountability. He does not get a pass. Right? I think that goes without saying. At the same time, I mean, let's not act like a 10-point lead in the first half, 10-0 is an insurmountable lead. Based on what we've seen in the NFL all season long, and we have watched, tons of games from, week one right through. We have seen comebacks with teams down by 20, down by 17, down by 17 in the fourth quarter and win. So this whole thing about, leading by 10 points early in the game, I think is a bit overblown. Not to mention the fact that the 49ers did come back. They took the lead on 3 different occasions, all beat by 3 points. One of them was a result of a blocked extra point, which was a big play in the game. And all 3 times, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid came back. So does Kyle Shanahan deserve some blame? Yes. Do I think he deserves the avalanche of criticism that he has been getting? No. I think some of the criticism is fair, but I think some of it is just a lot of clicks and media fodder.
Paul, you cast this last squirrel at the foot of Kyle Shanahan?
I think the entire team has to share it. But as a head coach, and a head coach, as you would have pointed out, has been involved in some capacity in more than one Super Bowl loss. Some of them seemingly more catastrophic than others. He can't escape some blame and culpability here. I think you have to put it on an offense that once they got into the second quarter, they simply weren't able to make the necessary plays to keep the ball or even put points on the board. And then you have to put it on a San Francisco defense that I think in very key leverage moments they allowed Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to make the necessary plays to win. Everything kind of went down on a nice edge, and my biggest criticism of Kyle probably came down to some of the decision-making in overtime. If I'm going to take what players said about not knowing about the rule and then the subsequent way how that entire situation played out, it's a critique area for me, but he gets some grace from the standpoint that was just a tough game and it could have gone anyway.
So let's talk about that elephant in the room, the overtime rule. At the start of the overtime, when he won the toss, when he accepted the ball, I really didn't have a challenge with it. It wasn't, for me at the time, it wasn't an egregious decision to take the ball.
I agree.
Your defense was just on the field. The Kansas City Chiefs drove, I think it was 75 yards to kick a field goal on your defense. You know what I mean? You win the toss, you want the ball in overtime. That's throughout the history of time, every team that wins the toss in overtime takes the ball. I mean, the rule has changed now, and I think it wasn't the first opportunity, but I think this was the first Super Bowl with the new rules, where each team gets a chance to possess the ball.
Playoff game that you would have the new rules come into play.
I believe there was a playoff game recently in this.
No, but this year they came up with the rule.
Yeah, but I think there was
Right,
there was an
this is-
overtime
right.
game this year that the rule came in. But
I
I
see
digress.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
So I didn't think it was that egregious. And when I heard his reasoning, he said he wanted the ball third. Again, I don't have an issue with it. But he's taking a lot of flack. Remy, what's your thought on how the overtime played out? I don't think we have this discussion if it is that the team did not leave Chris Jones unblocked for Chris Jones to just destroy the
Or
play.
they stopped Kansas City from scoring, period.
We wouldn't be having this discussion, but your thought Monday morning quarterback on
here's
the decision.
my issue with it is, first of all, as you guys pointed out, this is the first Super Bowl where the rules have come into effect, right? So when you have the criticism where it's, oh well, how could you give Patrick Mahomes an extra down, when the Chiefs get the ball after you score, they're speaking in absolutes because, like I say, it's the first time, so we'll have no sample size as to how this thing actually played. There's no analytics to guide what decision he should make. So when he got the ball, or when he chose to take the ball, if he goes down there and scores, right, and so gets a touchdown, then even though Patrick Mahomes has and Andy Reid has 4 downs, who is to say that they convert on 4 downs? I mean, you have things like false starts, you have holding calls, maybe the defense makes a play. I mean, there's so much speculation, but the media and a lot of people have been talking like once you give a team 4 downs, it's automatic that they're going to score. His whole reasoning about wanting the third possession, I don't have a problem with that either, or getting the ball a second time. However, he would not have been allowed to do so because the Chiefs' strategy was if they had scored a touchdown, they were going to go for 2, right? So they decided that they were going to either win or lose the game.
Yeah, but you can't say that. No, you can't say that. No, Monday morning.
That's what they were saying.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I
don't
believe
something.
That. I do. I think.
You're not Dan Campbell. He's not Dan Campbell.
I see a lot of similarities between Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan. As far as I'm concerned, Kyle Shanahan is a younger Andy Reid.
He's a younger Andy
Reid.
I agree.
He's a younger Andy Reid. I mean, they're both very aggressive. I mean, let's not forget, as great as Andy Reid is, he went 15 years between Super Bowl appearances. And as you said, Jerome, he got his guy. Mahomes is his guy. And I don't put it past him to win next year. I mean, I'm not going to jump the gun. But I believe that Andy Reid is the type of guy who'll be like, let's win this game right now. I could totally see him doing that. But, getting back to what we're talking about, I don't think Kyle Shanahan did anything wrong. He could have played it another way. He could have decided to go for it on 4th down. If you don't get it, the Chiefs have to drive, 60, 65 yards to kick a field goal.
Yeah, that's
and they're backed up on their own 3-yard line.
You're not doing that either.
I actually think that that's a good play. I mean, because I would say, all right, my defense has gotten some rest. For the most part, they've stopped Patrick Mahomes. It's really bad field position because you're starting way down close to your goal line. If you stop them, they punt because they're not going to go for it backed up against their zone. They'll punt, and then you have a shot to kick a field goal to win because both teams would have exchanged possession. So I mean that's another possibility too. I mean I guess that's what makes this discussion fascinating. But I don't think Kyle Shanahan really did anything wrong. I mean I think people are, as you said, Jerome, they're Monday morning quarterbacking. And if you scored a touchdown, the defense makes them start the game is over. So it could have played out either way.
Paul, there in any Super Bowl, somebody has to take the fall for it, and we see where Steve Wilkes took the sword. I mean, Kyle Shanahan he called a timeout on one of the biggest plays in the game just because he didn't like the defense Steve Wilkes was showing, and we see him firing Steve Wilkes the day after the Super Bowl. I can't recall ever a defensive or any coordinator losing their job after a Super Bowl, and to think that the team played a hell of a Super Bowl. That defense really gave Patrick Mahomes fits all game. Patrick Mahomes got a touchdown and a freak play, and and the play in overtime. So I don't think Steve Wilkes deserved to be fired. I'm not sure he was the right coach at the end of the day, but I don't think he deserved to be fired. What your thoughts on the firing of Steve Wilkes after the Super Bowl?
Well, my opinion kind of encompass 2 words which I can't say over national airwaves. Let's just put it that way.
Do it,
looking
Paul.
at it. No, I won't. I mean, looking at the numbers, you're seeing the third-ranked defense in the NFL in 2023. If we go all the way back in the days when Salah was the defensive coordinator for that team, they were the 9th-ranked defense in the league, and of course, the Mika Ryans did a great job having them as the number 1 defense. Take into consideration the performance of that defensive squad all throughout this season. They were not only dominant, they created turnovers, they had excellent plays, all of the necessary metrics that you weigh and measure a good defense on, they met and exceeded them in many scenarios. And then on the day itself, to turn around and say that the performance of the defense was the reason you lost the game, I just think it's rubbish. I don't understand how they came to that rationalization. I guess there's always a necessity to have a scapegoat. But from my perspective, firing a man who stepped in, took over a team that, while talented, yes, but he did not make them any worse. In some cases, they got better and they continue to excel. And then you say to him after one season, you have to go. Be it that there was some disagreement with a play call, that's not enough reason for a man to lose his job. So I'm very displeased with it.
And firing him when there's no jobs available. It's at the point
Yeah,
of
let's
the
not
season.
leave out that part.
At the point of the season.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
I hear everything you say, Paul, and all your points are valid. But I don't think this was a firing due to performance. Clearly, from the facts that you just laid out, the 49ers, for the balance of the season, performed very, very well. I think the issue came down to trust. Because I remember during the course of the season, Steve Wilkes was calling the game from the booth. And I think there might have been a couple games or so where the defense never looked the way that Shanahan wanted it to look. And he had Steve Wilkes come down to the sideline. And then that timeout in the Super Bowl, where an offensive-minded coach look at what the defense is going to call and say, no, we can't do this. So what I am seeing here is it's not a performance issue. I think it's a trust issue. And I think that for whatever reason, I don't know the ins and outs, I don't think Kyle Shanahan trusts Steve Wilkes, despite the performance. I mean, we can look further in the numbers and say, well, who did they play well against and who did they dominate? Because, Paul, as he pointed out last week with your bikini analogy, which I'll never forget, right? Statistics can be a little bit misleading, but, you make valid points. I mean, they're all strong points. I'm not trying to be the contrarian here. I'm just saying that I think there's a little more to it that meets the eye. And I also think that I don't think this was Kyle Shanahan's decision alone, because I think that John Lynch made some comments at the end of the game saying that there were some things about the defense he didn't like. So what I am surmising, and this is purely speculation, that maybe the decision to fire Steve Wilkes came from upstairs. It came from the general manager's office. And he told Kyle, listen, you can't bring that guy back. I think probably said, oh, all right, and just gave him the axe. So, and John Lynch, his word counts. This guy is a, Hall of Famer, played on one of the best defenses in the history of the game, the 0-2 Bucks. So, I think I'm not saying, like I said, I don't know. I'm just saying that, generally speaking, head coaches don't want to fire their guys. They don't, especially after 1 year, especially with the statistical season the Niners.
Let me ask you a question, Remy. Was the defense the reason they lost the Super Bowl?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then it's a scapegoat.
I think there are multiple reasons why they lost. I don't think it's any one thing. I think in my opinion, if you were to boil it down to two players, I would say the punt return fiasco and the block extra points were huge. Those are
the difference in the game, and the fact that Kyle Shanahan could not manufacture any offense.
You can't say he couldn't manufacture.
He didn't manufacture any offense. The first touchdowns are trick play, and
hold on a second. Let's give the Kansas City Chiefs defense some credit. Next to the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs was second in everything.
Yeah, but Kyle Shanahan is supposed to be a guru. Kyle Shanahan is supposed to be the offensive guru. Who
said that?
That's his claim to fame. His claim to fame.
He's calling himself an offensive guru?
His claim to fame is being an offensive guru.
So there's a media narrative that you have accepted as gospel. All right.
It is what it is. It is what it is. He is the face of offense. Him Andy Reid is the face of offense in the league.
No, I would say McVay is in there too. So I put McVay ahead of Kyle actually. If you really want to go by accomplishment.
Well, if you want to go by accomplishment, because he can't win the big one, he just can't win the big one. So let's
said the same thing about Andy Reid almost 20 years ago. So we'll see.
And before he got the quarterback. So let me ask you, Paul. Brock Purdy played well in the game. He played well.
Yeah.
But in those moments that the 49ers needed Superman to put on the cape, he just couldn't put on the cape. Is he the thing that's holding back the San Francisco 49ers? Because we thought Jimmy G was the problem. You know, they got rid of Jimmy G. They traded up to get Trey Lance. He didn't work out. Brock Purdy has been good. He's gotten them exactly where Jimmy G got them, to the Super Bowl and lost. Is Brock Purdy special enough to get the Kansas City Chiefs a Super Bowl?
I think so. In fact, I can't put the inability to win that game on him. I mean, there were some plays he left on the field, some passes he left on the field. And comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, who is easily right now in my mind probably the second greatest quarterback of all time, is not fair. Brock Purdy is still playing his second season in the NFL. He will get better. He will become more adept at reading defenses and making necessary plays. And if you look at, the Super Bowl as a body of work, he didn't stink up the place. And, I mean, as much as I didn't like the whole MVP narrative, this is still a player throughout the entire season that pretty much had almost 5,000 yards. I think he had 4,300 yards, 69% completion percentage. I mean, those are excellent numbers. I'm not to lean on stats here, but if you have a season where you have more than 2 times the amount of interceptions you're a good quarterback in this league. So I won't knock the guy. I think he deserves a contract that is paying him more than $900,000, but he's not the reason why this team is being held back per se.
Yeah, Remy, Brandon Ayuk tweeted after the game that he's disgruntled. He tweeted that you can't forget what got you here. He only got three targets in the game. Christian McCaffrey got 30 targets.
You need to get
in the
open
game.
then. Get open. That's the problem.
Christian McCaffrey got 30 targets. We saw Greg Kittle.
Seems he's going to get the majority of the touches. So
George Kittle wasn't involved in the game. Debo Samuel wasn't a part of the game plan. Is the fact that they have the better team. They have the more explosive offense. They have 4 all-world, all-pro. We saw Trent Williams not having his best game. Penalties, false start penalties, holding calls. Trent Williams was just not himself. In the biggest,
that was early in the game.
In the biggest moment, but it cost him. We saw Christopher McCaffrey fumbling. He never fumbles. Fumbling the game. Was that coaching? Was the fact that they couldn't get their stars the ball, the mistakes, the punt return, the block extra point. That guy had made 68 extra points before that. Trent Williams, a first ballot Hall of Famer, having holding calls after holding calls. Like, is that coaching? The fact that they never knew the overtime rules, is that an indictment on Kyle Shanahan, you believe?
All right. Well, of everything you listed out there, the only thing I would say I think Kyle Shanahan deserves full blame for is not knowing the overtime rules. That is.
Well, he didn't say he don't know it. He didn't say he don't know.
No, not communicating it to the players or not making sure that his players know the overtime rules. That is on him. That there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. The other stuff, a missed extra point, the punt return fiasco, CMC fumbling. Those are, I would file it under crap happens. Stuff happens in a game. It's not a perfect game. It's a game played by human beings. You're going to have errors. The true measure of a team is how you overcome those errors, how you deal with adversity, how you get your mind back focused on what you need to do. And at the same point, I mean, Debo Samuels had, 3 catches? He was targeted 11 times. I think, who was the corner? Snead and McDuffie. I think they had a large part to do with that, as well as the Chiefs pass rush. I think the coach of the game, in my opinion, the best coach of that game was Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, by far, too. I mean, by far. It wasn't even, I mean, what the Chiefs defense did to hold San Francisco like that was amazing. I mean, Ayuk, being disgruntled, I mean, okay, a wide receiver being disgruntled at him only catch, 9 balls in the postseason, and in other breaking news, water is wet. Okay, wide receivers get disgruntled all the time.
Pretty much, brother.
Right? So I think that the 49ers are in a very advantageous position right now because, Brock Purdy is making, $800,000, $900,000 per year? I mean, they have money that they can re-sign some of their key players, and we don't know who they're going to target in free agency. So I think San Francisco can reload, but the window will stay open as long as you can continue to pay Brock Purdy what you're paying him. After that, things start to change in the NFL, and we know in the NFL things change quickly.
Talking about change quickly, the Kansas City Chiefs are in a position where they have said it out loud. Travis Kelce in his acceptance speech saying he'll be back for this repeat. It's never been done before. If there is a team that could have repeated, I don't think this team is the team that could have repeated. I think that the Dallas Cowboys of the 90s were a good team. I think the Patriots could have and should have. I thought the Chuck Norris Steelers of the 70s probably could have and should have.
The Niners of the 80s.
The Niners of the 80s could have and should have. I mean, we see teams disintegrate after the first two. I mean, all year, Travis Kelce looked like a shell of himself. That defense kept them in a lot of games. We see that wide receiver group all year struggled. They made some plays in the Super Bowl, but Travis Kelce is what stirs that drink. That run game is what stirs that drink. Paul, let me start with you. The Kansas City Chiefs will start the season as the second favorite team to win it all next year behind the Buffalo Bills. Would you put money on the Kansas City Chiefs to three-peat?
I think we kind of have to pause a second to just look at what they accomplished this season. Being 2 seasons removed from one of the most prolific weapons on the offensive side in Tyreek Hill, and not only making Super Bowls but winning that. Projecting forward, though, looking at Travis Kelce being a season older, a year older, looking at a situation where you don't have quarterbacks from other teams in the AFC being injured, Burrow, Deshaun Watson, and all these other teams will get better. I'm not going to say that Kansas City can't do it. I don't even want to say that I'm going to bet against them, but I don't really see it happening unless they are able to retool some of the weapons that they have on the offensive side and somehow hold on to the pieces that they have defensively. It's going to be harder to try and three-peat. I don't think they have the pieces right now, but with some key moves, if you talk to me in another 4 or 5 months, then I think I'd be in a better position to say if they have a better chance.
Remy, do you like the Kansas City Chiefs' chances of three-peating?
I think they have a chance to do it because of the head coach and the quarterback and what they already have in place. But to echo Paul's sentiments, I think that we kind of have to wait and see. One of the things that they must do, they must get lock up Chris Jones. I mean, he is the linchpin to the defensive unit. I mean, if they don't have him, forget it. Them not three-peating. It's not going to happen, right? Paul also made a point about the quarterbacks in the AFC. I think one of the teams that the Kansas City Chiefs are glad they didn't have to play. Not saying that they wouldn't beat them. I'm sure they will tell you it's the Cincinnati Bengals. If it is one team that bothers them, is the Bengals with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is just not fazed by them at all, and the Bengals always play them close. And I actually look forward to next season to say a fully healthy Joe Burrow, Bengals. Let's see what happens in the draft and free agency, and then we take it from there. But if you were to ask me right now, I would say I would side with history and say the Chiefs won't repeat. They won't three-peat, rather. It'll be somebody else. But at the same time, I really can't count them out because, to be honest with you, this was the year that the league had the chance to put down the Chiefs. I mean, when you have a receiving core exactly. When you have a receiving core that lead the league in drops, you have a Patrick Mahomes offense that scored under 22 points a game, and then at the end of the season, he ends up lifting the Lombardi Trophy. What do you think is going to happen when they retool in the off season? It's going to be that much harder.
It's going to be that much harder, but what you're going to do is you're going to have players that have Super Bowl rings. Players want their money. Players want endorsements. Players want to be Swifties. Players want all that comes with being a 2-time Super Bowl champion. You don't work as hard.
Reference. Took you long enough, man.
You don't work as hard. You don't train as hard anymore because you have the bag now. I mean, complacency will set in.
Give them that credit. We have not seen that.
And
they go ahead.
I don't know if it's the same team that had the success previously. The core of the team remains the same. The Travis Kelce, the Patrick Mahomes, the Chris Jones. The core of that team has remained the same, but they've had a lot of turnover in the team. The offensive room, the receivers are completely new receivers. The players from then doesn't play the same role that they used to play. The running back that they drafted in the first round. I mean, the receiving core, it's a different team. But I mean, I am not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. I've said that before, and that was the main reason why I had the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, because that guy gets better as the game gets tougher. That guy steps up when the game reaches crunch time, and there's only maybe 3 people or 4 people on earth that gets better as the moment gets bigger. And I think he's gotten himself in the conversation, the GOAT conversation.
He definitely is. That's true.
Yeah, he's entered the GOAT conversation. I'm not sure if he needs to get to 7 to be considered the GOAT at this stage of his career. No, and I'm being, we only talk facts on this program. That could be the slogan of this program. We only talk facts on this program. There are things Patrick Mahomes can do that Tom Brady just can never do. He just can't do. I haven't seen anything that Tom Brady can do that Patrick Mahomes can't do. Not yet.
Well, look at it from this perspective, Joe. I mean, you mentioned that you're not sure if he needs to get to 7. I mean, we always have a very popular perspective of Michael Jordan as the greatest of all time, and he doesn't have more than the Bill Russells of the world. But Michael went to 6 NBA championships and won 6. It's just the level of consistency and the legend that he's brought around himself as a winner that really has us tipping him ahead of someone who has more by the numbers as far as championships are concerned. Yeah. And I think if Patrick Mahomes can get to 5, especially if he does it, and this sounds crazy coming out of my mouth, but he can win in excess of 3 more in the next 4 years, bruh.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I mean, I think 4 is realistically the number. I don't think Travis Kelce plays more than 2 more years. I don't think Andy Reid coaches for more than 5 more years.
No, we're talking. I'm waiting for you to mention that.
I don't see it. What Tom Brady and Bill Belichick did together, it's just not going to be done again. Players get the money. Patrick Mahomes is going to sign another $500 million contract. He's secured for life. Like he's not going to put the work that Tom Brady was putting in at 40 years old. That's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. So I can't see him get to more than 4. I just can't see it. Remy, you were saying something.
What I would say is,
go ahead, Remy.
If the Chiefs win next year and 3-peat, I mean, no team has ever done that in the Super Bowl era. If they do it and he wins another Super Bowl MVP, he's in the GOAT discussion. He's probably in the.
He's already in the discussion. I don't think he needs that. I don't think he needs that.
Well, hold on. I mean, think about this. That's an enormous feather in his cap, If he pulls off a 3-peat, I mean, look how many greats, haven't I used the word failed in quotes? Joe Montana wasn't able to do it. The great Tom Brady wasn't able to do it. Troy Aikman wasn't able to do it. If he does that,
none of them,
right? If he does that, I mean, that is a huge, huge deal. I mean, you're talking epic history in the NFL if he does that, and another Super Bowl MVP. So I think what is the potential limitation for him is how long does Mr. Andy Reid, how long does Big Red coach for? That is what we're looking at.
Or I put this to you, if he's able to partner with another coach and find similar success, that
You're talking about a if. You're talking about a if. That's
yeah,
a lot.
And we are. This is all about speculative kind of perception of where he's going to go. But you already see the possibility of it, because all of us here on this call, on one level or another, have not seen how this team was even going to be in the position that they currently are, and that is winning another Super Bowl as constituted. But here they are. Yeah,
which is why I said it's not going to happen, because the NFL is built on parity, and we've seen, you know, as you know, we say that the script writers write all these scripts and everything, but we see different teams rise and fall. We see teams rise and we see teams fall. Look at the Eagles. The Eagles were supposed to be in the Super Bowl this year. They started out well. About that. We started out well, but the Dallas Cowboys can't get back. It's like the teams that you expect to be great every year, something just happened. Every year, at minimum, there are 4 new playoff teams. I could see a situation where, you know what I mean, Sean Payton is in that division now. John Harbaugh is in that division now. You know, last season, I think the Raiders beat the Chiefs twice last season. AP is now in that. I could see that division, even though Andy Reid has won that division 8 straight time. Travis Kelce seems like he's taking the regular season off now. like he's definitely not playing as hard anymore. The Chiefs have shown now that they can go on the road and win a Super Bowl. So, you know, they've checked off that box. But for me, the road is so steep, especially next season with a healthy Joe Burrow, a healthy Deshaun Watson. Let's see how the Chargers look with John Harbaugh. The Ravens are coming back.
I think the Chargers is going to get them a run in that division.
We've said that every year.
Yeah, but they haven't had Jim Harbaugh every year. This is different.
And again, I'm thinking, you know, a Buffalo Bills team coming back hungrier, you know, real fine. Next season is going to be great. Let's see what happens in the draft. I mean, I know CJ Stroud is coming. Like, it is going to be harder next season. And for a 49er team that has knocked on the door for so long, older players, I don't know how the NFL is going to look next season, but I'm really excited to find out. But gentlemen, thanks again for joining. It was an amazing season, and I look forward to talking, you know, combine with you guys and draft coming up and free agency. I mean, it's definitely a good time to be an NFL fan, and there's going to be football this spring as the UFC is coming. So we have football to look forward to. But anyway, gentlemen, thanks again for coming on. Truly appreciate the season. It was an amazing season, and we'll be back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
I saw something suspicious at work the other day and decided to speak out. I was afraid at first, but did it because corruption must stop. They never too liked the idea and even threatened to fire me. But I believe it's my duty to speak out against these things. Be a whistleblower and help eliminate corruption. Call the Integrity Commission at 876-968-6227 or email cpd@integrity.gov.jm.
A message from the Integrity Commission, United Against Corruption.
Are you ready for something mega?
Spend $6,500 or more before GCT. Drop your entry in the box and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels Tour promotion. April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Grace, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst. Juice Concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart. Best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
You're listening to a rebroadcast of Sports Nation Live.